alien species that, lives, say, 100.
Advancing every couple of years now, very fast, rapidly. Whereas before, when I was little, you were talking like 10, maybe 15 years before technology really started getting faster. And then if you went back,
whatever's made, whatever
precious
the
metals
screen's made of and stuff like that. I mean,
consequences, but there has to be some sort of element that like you're in danger. Reality in their virtual reality world, where it's like split personalities basically. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Two Couch Talk, episode number 8.
Number
8. Yeah.
I know, the weeks start blending
It's
together.
8 and it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. We got some pretty good topics for you today. I'm going to be your host. I am Jared Mannche, as you all probably know. We got with me my other host, Eli GaVinci Raw. Then we also got Alex Busta here on the white couch. And
I didn't know this is a segregation type show.
Wow, it's funny. We got the brown guys on the white couch and the white guy on the brown couch.
All right, but that's diversity, you know? If I was on the white couch, then that'd be a bad look.
Yeah. We're mixing it up, people.
Mixing it
up. Exactly. No racism around here.
Not in this damn show. No.
All right. So, as you guys all know, we have topics that we like to discuss. Some of them controversial, some of them not controversial. We have 10 minutes to discuss each topic, and then we can use an extra 5 minutes on one topic per show.
Yep.
And I think that covers all the rules.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's jump right into it.
Let's do this going.
I'll be starting, and my first controversial topic is going to be aliens.
Aliens. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 10 minutes starts now.
Extraterrestrial or illegal? Because we could go in too wide path.
Yeah,
go down
extraterrestrial. ETs.
Well, hey, I mean, we are in Arizona, so it's a valid question.
It is a valid question. I'm not discrediting you on that one. All right, so aliens. Do you believe in aliens?
Okay. If anyone wants some general information as to an actual yes or no question, I recommend looking up Bob Lazar, UFOs, and I forget what it's called, but it's on Netflix, and it's called Bob Lazar, UFOs, and I forget the other part of it. That one's really good because that guy used to be a scientist. Huge shout out to Joe Rogan. Actually, this is the reason why I know this gentleman, Bob Lazar, because I actually saw him on his podcast. Then I did a little bit of research behind him and found out he's actually, was a legitimate scientist. He actually was hired by a private company and firm to actually investigate a UFO or something that they can't explain, and they wanted to find out what it was exactly. And he actually went in and found out what he could on the thing. But then, I don't want to spoil nothing for nobody. Just if you can, go watch it. It's really good. The guy's clearly not a batshit crazy type person. He knows what he's talking about. He really does know the real science lingo, unless he's just a really intelligent person who's just really, pulling strings at stuff.
Right.
But honestly, I didn't really believe in any of that stuff until I saw him and actually heard what he was saying, and I did a little research, and a lot of it came true. And he was talking about this stuff in the 80s and 90s, and then it all came true in the 2000s. And I'm like, holy shit, you can't make that stuff up. Unless you're just the most luckiest, crazy person in the world and you just got lucky. But he knew these things existed, and it did exist. So I'm like, okay, maybe this guy's not crazy, and started giving me food for thought and things of that nature too. So I am a believer now that there is another type of civilization out there in the world. And even so how boring it would be for us existing, and then to find out, oh yeah, we're the only existing creatures in the ever. and every universe that ever existed, we're the only ones. Man, that would suck.
Right. I think it's kind of pompous and arrogant of humans to believe that we're the only, I guess what you would call intelligent life in the universe. I mean, consider we live on one planet in a solar system of, well, 8, 9 planets, depending on where Pluto lies nowadays. I don't even remember.
True.
But we haven't even discovered all the life on our one planet. We haven't even been to the bottom of the deepest ocean yet.
True.
And explored the entire ocean. The ocean's 75% of our planet. So it's crazy. I definitely think it's crazy for us to think that we're the only thing that's intelligent and living in all of the the vast reaches of the universe. Even if everything that we've seen that people count as evidence towards extraterrestrial life, like the Phoenix Lights or people recording UFOs, even if somehow every single instance of that is complete garbage or not proof at all, which I definitely think some of it is, that still doesn't sell me on the idea that we might be the only thing. I don't think it's possible. Universe is too big.
It's too big, and it would stink. It would just utterly stink. Like, what a lackluster existence to find out that we're the only existence. Like we're the only conscious existence in the world, in the universes ever. Like, that would just stink. Like, royally, just I would feel so empty knowing that that's it. That we're the greatest accomplishment as far as being, we achieved the existence and conscious thought, and that's it. Like that.
I know I definitely believe in aliens because like Alex said, I think it is kind of arrogant to believe that we're the only people on the planet or in the universe. Like, even if the alien species that lives, say, hundreds, maybe thousands of light years away, maybe even if they defy our laws of physics, there has to be carbon based, and they have to use oxygen to survive, and basic life fundamentals, I guess, on how we survive. Maybe other species that have developed somewhere else don't survive like that.
Exactly. And I was just about to say that to you. Like, what if there's other organisms that manifested, became intelligent life, but just based on how their planet was terraformed determines and how everything is the way it is for them, or even like the thought of like their type of metals and their type of resources and things that they make seems almost magical to us, but is just natural to them, and they just create it the way they created it. But that was just normal, product that's provided to them by their world. So it's like, it seems insanely advanced to us, but really it's just regular everything for them, and they're actually not even considered advanced yet on their planet. They just figured this out, So it's just like, because it's like, if you ever think about like the idea of taking something like this thing back 40 years ago or even 50 years ago, they would go nuts. Like, what are you talking about? I could take a picture, do this, text this person, call this person, and go on internet and do all these other things and watch videos all day on this little thing. Impossible.
Yeah.
They would tell you crazy.
Absolutely.
And I know 50 years it's too soon. I would probably go like 100 years, but yeah.
Right. And knowledge only encompasses everything that we've discovered.
Exactly.
True.
So
absolutely.
I mean, like you were saying, 50 years ago, how much more narrow was our window of knowledge on technology and the universe? Because of course, as one advances, we're able to use it to discover more about what's around us and what else is out there, and use it for all kinds of different things. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I remember there was a good Tommy Lee Jones quote in Men in Black where he he's talking about how 50 years ago, 1,000 years ago, everybody knew that the Earth was flat, and 100 years ago, everybody knew that, something else that was common knowledge, but was proven to be wrong. And he tells Will Smith, imagine what you'll know tomorrow. So what we know now is just all based on what we have gotten so far, but we have no idea what we're going to discover the next day or the day after that or in years to come.
Yeah.
And there's so much out there.
Exactly. And I was like, and who's to know that there's technology out there that is not been presented to us, the regular viewing public, that people have that's so far advanced that it would blow our minds or even make like people go into a mass panic because it's like, what is this? This is scary.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking like it's going to take 60 to 100 years for us, to actually get it to us, so it's like makes you think like, huge shout out to the Jetsons. We're sorry we let you down in 2012.
Yeah.
Sorry we didn't make that, but hey, we tried, kind of, not really.
Some people tried.
Some people tried.
Okay. So next question. Do you think that we will ever get like concrete proof that aliens do exist in our lifetime?
Oh, I think we have it.
That's what I was about to say.
I don't have it.
Yeah.
But we somewhere as a species nestled away by people who are far more powerful than we've got it somewhere. But
yeah.
I don't know that we'll be told about it en masse, like, that it'll be announced on the news. I think the way that we're going to find out about it as a general society is something is going to happen, or people are going to see something that's so big and so irrefutable that it's going to be like, yep, okay, there it is. They exist, and there's not going to be any way to cover up or deny that
this is it,
that thing. Yeah.
So, well, let me throw this at you guys, since we discussed this before about climate change and the world basically going to is that potentially what it could be, that we actually are, the world's gonna basically collapse and that's it, we're done, the world's gonna end, and this is the technology that needs to actually physically come out for us to actually survive?
Like we're gonna use like alien technology to
That's it.
save the planet?
Oh, that's it, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm throwing out my 5.
Okay.
Using the
I'm
5
gonna
or
do it.
All right.
Right.
Alex Busta using his 5 on the first topic of the day.
Yeah.
hey, so I was like, that means it was a really good topic, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what I do.
All right, 5 minutes has begun. But that basically kind of like the Earth stood still. Not the original one, but the one with Keanu Reeves. Shout out to Keanu Reeves, really cool ass guy. One of these days we'll meet him, bring him on the show.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be great.
If you're watching the show, the couch is right there.
Please
waiting
come
for
on
you.
down. We got
Please.
a spot for
We
you.
got a spot for you.
Absolutely.
But like that movie where he came to destroy the Earth, or not, excuse me, destroy us to fix the Earth, and then they convinced him, like, give us an opportunity to try to fix this and try to actually make it better. Do you think maybe that's what it is? Like, we're gonna have to get to that point, that crucial point, to we need to fix the world before finally something like this gets presented to us? Kind of like, all right, you know what, we're all gonna die, but this is the technology that's gonna save us. Don't freak out. Here it is. Or do you think people are so effing greedy and so rotten with their power and everything that they won't allow it to happen?
That's a good question. I mean, people's greed get in the way of us living a better life nowadays, just as it is in general.
Mm-hmm.
True.
There's a reason why the upper class is so highly divided from lower, which of course, if it was different, that would help a lot of people out. But then we're getting into socialism, which is a whole other topic that my 5 minutes won't cover.
Yeah.
But I think what I really think is that I feel like extraterrestrials know where we're at in the universe. I feel like we are like not an experiment, but let's say maybe a petri dish. We're having tabs kept on us to monitor our advancement as a society. I think, and it's possible that if we if they're watching us just sit here and destroy ourselves, yeah, if I was in the position of an extraterrestrial who had such and such technology to offer, I'm not going to share it with a race that's just going to bomb themselves into the ground anyways. What's the point?
Yeah, because once they fix their problem, they're just going to redo it again, because it's a vicious cycle that we've kind of created for ourselves where, these people are on top, these people are on the bottom, and they don't want to lose their superiority. So, of course, they're always going to keep it like that for the rest of existence.
So we need Thanos.
We need that. Back to, was
Back
it
to
episode 2?
Back to the snap. I
Yeah,
think it was
episode 2. But yeah, the Thanos, even snap, everyone, it's just random. Right now, one of us has turned to dust, and the other two now on the show.
Yeah.
Just, it is what it is. But I don't think that's entirely a bad idea, because it's like, it's fair game. Anyone could just disappear. Granted, you don't want your loved ones to disappear, but it kind of gives you that, it evens the playing field in a lot of ways.
Yeah, so if we are going to rely on some kind of alien technology to help fix the planet or something like that, I feel that whatever would provide it to us, we would have to be deserving of that chance first for them to even show up openly and offer this to us.
Yeah, we'd have to show some kind of progress in making the Earth a better place to live, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, see, they learn from their mistakes, and there hasn't been a huge war in a few years, so
which actually we're about to go into war. Date the time, so that way when we do, you guys know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
When you go back and rewatch this. How about this idea to you guys? If they were to come like that, should they be allowed to decide who exists and who doesn't exist? Kind of like a Thanos? Like, should they be allowed to come and say, you know what? These are the people who are ruining your planet. They need to go now. We'll get rid of them if you guys don't feel comfortable doing it. Should we allow that to exist or happen? Or is it just kind of like fair game?
I mean, it depends on if we're strong enough to hold them back. Like, if they're more advanced than us in weaponry and everything, and we have no chance
but they give
of
us that.
fighting them.
But let's, like we say, hypothetically, they give us that, you guys could decide. If you don't decide, this is what we're going to do.
Again, it's not much of a decision. It's a stalemate.
Yeah.
You're already, if they're that much more advanced, it's not even a stalemate. It's the illusion of a decision.
True.
Exactly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is that is done. Would you like to use your 5?
Nope.
All right, I'm not
Think
going to
we
use my
discussed
5.
that topic?
We did. We had a good discussion with that.
Yeah.
So that's it. The aliens in the world, do you believe they exist? If they don't, feel free to comment below, subscribe, and of course turn on that little notification. That actually helps us out tremendously. And discuss what we discussed. Feel free to say what we said, or even say we're crazy, we're batshit crazy, or whatever you want. Like, feel free to comment below. We will contact you and let you know you're full of shit too.
I'd rather someone disagree with me than say nothing at all.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right. So that's it for my topic. We're going to move on to Alex Busta's topic for the day.
Hey.
And what is that going to be, Mr. Busta?
All right. Well, I've got an interesting, controversial one today, which I would really like for people to comment on, just because we only have a male perspective here for this one.
True.
Which we need to get some ladies on the show. I know. I want that other perspective. I want that other side. Start talking to us.
Yeah, let's have a conversation. Come on.
My topic for today is going to be concerning or considering the legalization of prostitution.
The legalization of prostitution. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, legalization of prostitution begins 10 minutes now.
So basically, little background. Earlier this year, there were a few senators out in New York who were considering legalizing prostitution. I don't know if it was statewide or just for certain counties or things like that, like it is in Las Vegas.
Okay.
There are a couple of counties in Vegas where prostitution is legal. Of course, it is regulated by the state. The people who participate in it do get tested. it's a totally different scenario than your standard street prostitution, which is typically ladies held captive by pimps who have gotten them into this industry typically through some kind of drug issue or something like that. There's a lot of abuse, there's a lot of unregulation, there's a lot of terrorizing that goes into that. What do you guys think as far as if this was something that could be legalized? I'm sure it would be a state by state issue, but what kind of things would improve, and inversely, what kind of problems would arise from the legalization of prostitution as well?
Well, I think one of the benefits, just like legalizing weed has, is more money to the state.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ultimately, if there's any type of good, it'd be that.
Yeah.
Truth be told.
It's like if so let's say it was like, an office building or something, and you walk in and you're like, "Hi, I'd like to have sex with somebody." And they like pull up a list or something, pictures and names and like details, stuff, and you're like, scroll, not that one, that one. Okay.
And then the lady behind the counter is like, "Ew, you're nasty."
Yeah. Oh, you like that freaky shit, don't you? And she's like, "All right, that'll be $200.
$200 for an hour.
$200 or something." And you're like, "All right, go up to, here's your like key card or something. Go up to room like C9, and they'll be with you shortly."
Yeah.
And it's like I don't really see any problem with it. Like maybe I would say maybe for like marriages or relationships, but that shit happens with
regardless. Yeah.
With legal or illegal prostitution, people cheat all the time.
Sure.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But they do. So
we know who you are.
Yeah. Don't cheat.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Bastards. So I don't really see too many issues with it, especially if they're getting tested and everybody's clean. Like maybe you have to, if you're the guy, you have to get tested, or you have to wear a condom, or
some type of regulation.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't really see any issues with it.
With me personally, I don't really see too many issues with it other than like that, the infidelity or, cheating on your spousal or something like that. That could be problematic, but even then it's like, that's already happening now, like with people, just people who are not even prostitutes, and you get cheated on. That just happens. It's just, if you're unhappy in your relationship, usually what I tell people is if you're not happy, get the balls up to tell the person and then move on with your life, and vice versa. For ladies and gentlemen out there, seriously, if you're not happy, you only live once in life. You get one chance at this life and then it's over. Be happy about it. If you're not happy in your current situation, maybe just pull the Band-Aid off and just be like, what, it's not working, gotta move on. And I know I'm gonna get some flack for people who are like, no, you gotta make things work. Yeah, but there's certain ones that obviously it's a broken relationship. You shouldn't be in it. Period.
You gotta know when to stop.
Exactly. So as far as prostitution is concerned, the only problem I can see with it is it becoming problematic, like gambling or addiction. It becomes like an addiction issue. That's the only thing I can see a problem with it. Really, like some people just because there are sex addicts.
Of course.
I mean,
wait a minute.
Hold on. Now I was playing. But there's our sex addicts. There's addiction to sex. So it's like, I know there's people are going to be going there constantly, but that in there lies a personal choice. So it's kind of like, well, you go to do it your own. That's your own fault. Or like you having a gambling addiction and you go to the casino every night. That's your own fault. You chose to go there. They just exist. And it's just like, yeah, they'll send you offers and tempt you, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to go there. You chose to go there. That's on you. But it's also too with like any type of drug too. You're not a drug addict because drugs made you a drug addict. I mean, unless you literally were born into it, like your mom was a crackhead or something like that, or a drug addict, and you were born into that. Okay, I understand that. If you were, would say a woman who was raped by a man and he forcefully forced you drugs and then you just got addicted to it because of that, okay, that's different, very different avenues that I completely understand. Whereas like sex that's paid for, that's all premeditated in the sense that you chose to go do that. So if you get type of addiction for that, that's 100% on you.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Now, a couple interesting things to consider kind of related to this, just two that I'll bring up really quick. One, my wife and I were talking about this earlier today, that, you know, escort services are totally legal. You are allowed to pay somebody for their time.
Their company,
Legally, that is okay. You're not allowed to pay somebody for sex. I think that's where the prostitution aspect of it comes into play. So what happens with a lot of higher end escort services is you buy the time and the sex is provided for free. In that aspect, you have technically not paid for sex, even though you paid for the time in which you expect sex to come. So it's kind of it's a loophole, but it allows those types of businesses to exist and to flourish. The second thing that's very interesting, pornography, not considered prostitution in a legal sense. Yet why would you pay any pornographic actor or actress for anything other than to have sex on camera, which is the definition of pornography, or in front of some kind of lewd
to shoot a
or
porno, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it's interesting because since it's in movie form, it's considered a form of art,
because it's a loophole,
not prostitution. So it makes me wonder, and I've often wondered this before, if you, like, let's say, random single guy is, he hasn't been with a lady in a while, so he decides to go out and get a hooker and takes her to a hotel room. I mean, if you were in that guy's shoes, would you just bring a video camera? You get a knock on the door. Hey, this is the police. We just want to follow up. There's a known, you're in there with a known prostitute. Oh, yes, sir. I'm sorry about that. We're actually shooting a film
that has nudity in it.
I'm curious to find, like, what would how would that work out?
So it's like people are just kind of finding ways around it. I mean, porn's been around for a while now, and I'm sure escort services have too.
Oh yeah.
So it's like
burlesque house and all that.
They've been making money legally for a long time, but nobody's going after them like, oh no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, prostitution's one of the oldest trades on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
people have always had their bodies, and have used their bodies in some form or fashion.
Hey,
to make money.
I gotta use my body every single day at our job.
Right. You're pushing this or picking up that or what have you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, some people are saying, well, if it's my body and this is something that I want to do with it, then what's the difference between me making the choice to, go to bed with somebody for money or to have to do this labor for somebody for money?
So how do you guys feel, and because this is realistic, and I know both of you guys can agree to this field is clearly for males, the prostitution.
It could be for females too.
But hold on, let me finish. That honestly, that's why more or less they're going to be passing a law just so that way men can actually be able to go pay prostitutes, so that way they may have to deal with their wives or etc. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. You'll never know what GaVinci Raw was going to say.
All right, are you using your 5 minutes?
Nah.
All right, I'm not using my 5 minutes either.
Okay.
All
right. So that was prostitution in America. Should it be legalized?
Yeah, because it may potentially become legal in a certain state.
Exactly. So That was it. I think we had a pretty good discussion about
We
that
did.
one.
Yeah, and again, would really, really like to get a female perspective on this, because what Eli was saying, and what Jared was saying, like it does kind of seem like in mentioning this, we're talking about like mostly women, but there are definitely Johns out there and gigolos and whatever other names there are for male prostitutes.
Yeah.
No, Johns are.
But realistically
Customers.
speaking, it's gonna be mostly women who are gonna be prostituting, not really men. So I was gonna throw something out there, but ladies, without a doubt, we would really appreciate you commenting below and actually putting your 2 cents in it.
Absolutely.
Hell, if there's a woman out there who is an exotic dancer or an escort or one of those, we would really love to hear what you think about it, because
Right.
you are in that field. So we'd be curious what you think.
Give us the other side.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right, so we're gonna move on to GaVinci Raw's topic for the day, and Mr. GaVinci Raw, what would you like to talk about today?
What I would like to talk about today is technology. Is it gotten better, worse? I mean, obviously, I already know the answer for one of them, but gotten better, worse? Are we so dependent on it, et cetera, et cetera? 10 minutes starts now. And I know it's gotten better in a sense of like technologically speaking, it's gotten better. But I feel like also too, it may have gotten worse for us because we're so dependent on it. It's almost to the point where human beings are now not really seeing a need to like use their body to lift things or use their body to go running or stay fit. Because right now I'm like, hey, you guys hungry? Or our food will be here any minute now. Whereas before you had to physically go out and get food. Whereas like now it's just hop on your phone. Like Elon Musk said that we are already in the cyborg phase of humans because we have this thing. This is like it's attached to us. It's with us. And then eventually we will integrate it into our human bodies to where like our arm will have like a little screen. You hit it and then it's just like boop. And then you do your whatever. Or you could just like, oh, I need to order blah, blah, blah. All right, we're done. So it just makes you curious what you guys think about that.
Oh man, that's a good question. It is technology is getting to the point where it's making so many things convenient for us that we are sort of losing ourselves in a way as far as what we are willing to do to obtain something or to get a task done.
True.
Also, I see the other negative impact on it is the communication aspect. I mean, I can have, with my cell phone or Facebook or what have you, I can talk to 50 people in a day, no problem. But is that really an involved conversation that you're having with someone who you just drop a quick comment on their wall or you fire off a text? That's nothing like, back in the day you were like, hey man, I wonder what's going on with my buddy Zach. I'm gonna go sit down at the kitchen table. I'm gonna get on the phone. I'm gonna call that guy and see what's up with him. We're gonna have a conversation.
Yeah, or the old school pop in,
Yeah.
because you couldn't, you really, there's times where you couldn't get a hold of somebody or they didn't have a phone, so you just go to their house and, knock on the door and, hey man, how's it going? Oh, hey, how's it going? Now it's like almost rude to do that because it's like, why didn't you text me that you're on your way?
Yeah.
Whereas like before it wasn't like that. And I get it. Technology always advances and it always changes everything, because kind of like to the point I was making earlier, but like if we went back in time and dropped this into the middle of them and said, hey, figure this thing out, they would just be like, like if you put it to the scientists in the 18th century and said, hey, try to figure out how, cell phones work or how the cloud works. That's even a better one. They would say, what are you talking about? The cloud's above us? They would say, we would be like, no, the cloud memory did exist for us. And they would say, what are you talking about? And you would explain to them. They would think you're nuts.
You would get burned at the stake.
You would.
Absolutely.
And that's what I mean.
Absolutely.
It's like because without a doubt, we're to the age now where technology as like innocent as we are in technology, you know what I mean? Is like we're so like almost like babies per se. And we haven't quite grown with it correctly because it's moving so fast without us that we're to the age now where technology is going to be advancing every couple years now very fast, rapidly, Whereas before, you know, when I was little, you were talking like 10, maybe 15 years before technology really started getting faster. And then if you went back 40 or 50 years, it was like you're going to have to wait 40, 50 years before technology finally gets really going or catches up. Whereas like now it's like, I mean, next year there's going to be a new one of this. I know for a fact there's going to be, you know, there's going to be a new one of your iPhone. There's going to be a new one of this thing right here. There's going to be newer versions of these next year. Probably even sooner, probably in 6 months. And it'll probably even be way more technologically advanced than these, but it's going to exist. We already know that because that's just how fast we're moving now.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys ever expect when we were kids playing, you know, 32-bit regular Nintendo? No, 16-bit. Good God.
Yes.
32-bit
Actually
Sega.
8-bit originally.
Did you guys ever imagine that we would have something like virtual reality games that you could play in your living room?
At any given time, when it's just like a snap of it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then now they're launching a shout out to Google. Probably going to be sponsored this episode. But they're going to be doing their cloud streaming service where actually these things are going to be your handheld. You don't actually have to buy consoles no more. They're Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, like, literally you just plug it in a controller and then I start playing, and I'm actually playing the newest Assassin's Creed or the newest Call of Duty, or, you know, insert big game title here.
It's like a portable emulator type thing?
More or less, and then it's supposed to be more efficient for like streamers like yourself, Mannche, that when you play online, there's only like, I forgot what they said, but the latency is like basically gone. You won't notice it.
Wow.
Like they'll say that it's so supposed to be so dynamically incredible that there's gonna be no latency, and because of this, like all the newer technology companies, your Sony, your Microsoft, are in high gear to try to like, oh shit, this kind of, you know, there's someone here who's gonna change the market. We need to get on board and change them.
Yeah.
So much so that they're actually in talks of not combining companies, but like actually doing cross-play and actually working with each other to make sure that they could be in competing of this company.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So I think technology just keeps moving forward. Just like we have nothing. We can do nothing to stop it.
Oh no, without a
And
doubt. No.
we probably won't ever catch up to it. Because
do you think we are going to end up like, I'm sorry to cut you off, but do you think we will end up like a Wall-E? Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah, I have.
Huh.
Nah, we'll probably kill ourselves off before we get a big enough spaceship to go out into space.
That's true.
But I think like I think technology is going to get so big so fast that we're not going to know what to do with it, and then it's going to turn out to be like it's
Problematic.
It's going to be like scary for us. Like we're going to be like, oh my god, you know, the richest of the rich have this and then we have this, so like, or what do we do? Or especially with like weaponry,
well, because you're right,
where if different countries, different world superpowers have the most advanced nuclear bomb that could wipe out a whole country with one strike in the middle,
and it's all ran by AI, so they don't have to have any real casualties associated with it because it's all ran by AI.
So it's like I think technology is going to get so big that it's going to like destroy itself. Like we're basically just going to turn the clock back, and we're just going to go back to like, you know, no cars because we're going to use up all the gas, and then we'll all be trying to get the electric vehicles, but they're going to be too expensive. So then we're going to have to find new ways. And I think we're just going to dig ourselves into the ground.
Well, eventually we're going to run out of the resources required to even produce the technology that we have now, especially if we don't get smart and start recycling stuff like these old guys that have, you know, silicone chips in them and
Gold,
whatever's made, you know, whatever
precious
the
metals
screen's made of and stuff like that. I mean, these things are finite, you know. You can't not every single person in the world could have an iPhone. I don't know if it's possible. material wise.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Certainly not cost wise.
And yet every year there's a new one.
Right. And have you recycled every phone you've ever owned?
Oh no, I actually still have my like 3 phones ago still, you know, and I just have them because I always tell myself, oh, well, if this one breaks, I have that one to go back up to. It's my backup. And of course, I never need it, but I have it, you know, just always in the back of my mind, like, oh, I'll keep it just in case. I'll keep it just in case. And then the just in case has passed years ago, and then now that phone is so far behind that I can't even run it no more correctly. Like all my apps and all that does not work correctly with with those phones no more. So it's like basically it's just a piece of garbage more or less now.
Yep. It's a paperweight that used to be worth $500.
$600, $1,000, exactly.
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't even think we'll be that much more advanced in our lifetime. I think it's going to probably take a few more generations to really see like big advancements.
Ooh,
so
I disagree.
You don't think so?
I definitely disagree. Technology is a self-feeding thing. As we develop more technology and develop more programs that are able to not only think on their own but assist humans in their thinking.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is up.
The more and more it's going to go.
Like exponentially grow.
Exactly.
So, would you guys like to? Well, would you like to use your 5 minutes to continue that?
I'm good.
You know, I want to hear what you had to, elaborate more on what you had to say, Alex. So let me use my 5. All right, let's continue.
All right, it's GaVinci Raw using his 5.
So yeah, I mean the that's just kind of the way of it is. We couldn't develop better computers without developing computers first.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Now that we've used original computers to develop better computers, we have that processing power to develop even better computers. And so, it's an upward opening parabola. We started here, started inventing a little technology that helped us to invent a little more, but that's going to keep evolving and evolving and evolving to the point where we're going to have sophisticated enough things to help us create just unthought of advances in technology.
Which you're right, because I was thinking earlier about, like, we already invented 3D printing. Like you could literally print something out of your, you can literally print a house. They have a big enough 3D printer now. They actually can build a house for you for very, like, damn near nothing, like, cost wise, because the material is just all plastic and this and that, and it doesn't, and then I know that they've started designing a 3D printable metals. So once that actually is official, that means, you could just 3D print a gun. You could 3D print this mic I'm on right now. You could 3D print your rims for your car, instead of having to go buy a big old hunk of metal and then design it and etch it out and all that. You could just be like, hey, you know what? I don't like my car rims today. Yeah, let me brand new rims. Done. You paid X amount of money for the aluminum metal or the whatever type of metal, but they're already in the process of making that. So then when the T1000 happens, you should have printed him out.
So I just think about it in terms of, like, I'm 32 years old. So I just consider the amount of advancements that has taken place just while I've been on this earth.
In your lifetime.
And compare that to, let's say, like, the amount of advancements that had happened in my parents' lifetime by the point that they were my age, that, since they were 32. They've had a lot of significant advancements, but it's because I only call them so significant because it's led to information and discoveries that have allowed us to make all these other advancements. And I think we've had far more growth in my lifetime than they had in theirs, and our kids will have far more growth in their lifetime than we had in ours.
And out of curiosity, I wanted to know why you felt like it would just become like at a stalemate and then stop.
Well, I don't think it'll become a stalemate. Like I said, I think we'll get so advanced that we're just gonna
plateau at one point.
No, we're just gonna bomb ourselves into the ground. People are gonna like say the U.S. invents the next biggest thing, but all the other countries want it. What's to say they don't just team up against us and be like, hey, go fuck yourself, you know?
Yeah,
we're gonna take this. Here's a missile. Here's another missile, you know, and or like say, what's happening right now? Iran is refusing to follow that order to not make any more nuclear weapons,
which has always been an issue with.
Yeah, you know. So the U.S. is sending 1,000 more troops over to Iran to deal with that.
That's right.
But it's like, you know, we told them, hey, you can't do that. You're dangerous. You know, we don't need you with those kind of weapons in your arsenal. So we're trying to stop them from doing that. But what's not to say they were doing that in secret, or that they were designing this, but they didn't actually make it. But now when they designed it, they can make it, and it's way better than what we have. So it's like, I think we're just going to get into a huge war. I think it's just going to be a world-ending war.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, because like a lot of the to continue on like what you were saying about the big wars and things like that, they said some of like the people who predict, you know, like there's always the philosophers and those people who predict this is what's going to happen to the world or America, that they said that what's probably going to happen is that the human beings are going to have like that next big world war, World War III, if you will, and that's going to force. Oh, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. So, would you like to use your 5?
Nah, I'm good.
All right. So that was technology. Good or bad?
Yes,
is it
sir.
growing or going less? And I think we discussed the hell out of it. So let's get
guys.
going.
Yeah.
2 5s used already today.
I know, right? That's pretty good.
That's a
Let's
good
see if
day.
I can get my 5 out, but not too sure about that one.
All right, so I believe we're turning back over to Jared Mannche.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Mannche.
Host today. Second topic for you, sir.
All right. So we touched on this like very briefly in the last topic, but I wanted to discuss it in a broader spectrum.
All right.
All right. So we're going to be talking about virtual reality.
Virtual
And,
reality.
Very cool.
Yeah. You know, start the timer.
All right, virtual reality. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about virtual reality. And without a doubt, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. It helps us out tremendously and helps us grow so we could grow with you guys. Virtual reality, let's begin. 10 minutes.
All right. So what I wanted to talk about was like, yes, virtual reality is cool for gaming and stuff like that. But what other practical uses do you think that virtual reality has in the real world?
Training, firefighter training, is something that comes to mind. Police training is something that comes to mind. Medical training would be a huge thing. Could you imagine being able to do surgical training through virtual reality, where you could go as in depth as you needed to without actually putting a living person at risk?
True.
Like I feel like it could be applied in so many things that we need to get better at, but the process of practicing these things is dangerous.
Yeah.
Now it might not be an end all. You know, part of me thinks that a firefighter has to do a certain amount of training under that physical stress to know what it's going to be like when you go into an actual fire. Like virtual reality training, there's going to be some things that it just can't cover.
Absolutely.
But there's going to be a lot of stuff that it can and keep a lot of people much safer while they're doing it.
Yep.
Yeah, because the medical one is immediately what I thought of. Like, right when you said it, I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking in my head. Just the surgeries alone, being able to see being able to actually physically take you into the body and actually see things that you can't see without actually physically hurting something or someone, and then be able to cut, learn how the incisions are done correctly, learn how to sew and do all that stuff. I'm sure that they could provide ballistics bodies and things like that. They're just the silicone base,
go.
and you could actually get in there and do what you need to do. So if it's almost like tricking your brain to think you're actually doing it, but really you're not. But you are in a way, because it's like it's almost like you're teaching your muscle memory. This is what's going to be like. This is what you're feeling. This is what you need to do. And I think that's a great idea, especially like that with the cops and stuff. Like I think, a 6-month training course for cops, and then all of a sudden you're a cop and you're just thrown out in the world, and you might interact with someone who is crazy and might want to kill you. You might handle it wrong, or or someone who isn't and is just might be having just a bad day, and then gets mad at you, and then you end up taking it out on them, and then you kill them. It's like if you did the right training with the right avenues, I think that would help. And in like the military, like Air Force, them training how to. So I already know they already do this, but they already train like piloting and like that type of nature, learning how to drive a tank, learning how to operate drones and things of that stuff. Because most of them get taught on they're given whichever controller they want, but the PlayStation or Microsoft controller, Xbox controllers, and then they're taught on those how to actually use them.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think that you guys, or I think Alex said this, is that there's stuff that you can't be taught just from, let's say, like sitting here with a headset on, learning about everything. Like, I think there would need to be, like, not necessarily consequences, but there has to be some sort of element that like you're in danger, but like in a controlled environment.
Right.
So like let's say let's do like cop. So let's say you're walking up to an active shooting right now, and there's police in a shootout with somebody that's barricaded inside a house, and if you don't handle the situation correctly, like you get you have, say, like a bulletproof vest on or something, and you get shot with like one of those bean bags.
Yeah.
So like there's still like it hurts, like you felt
Right.
it, and like, but it's not like you were in danger of dying.
Yeah, like there's a physical danger aspect to it,
Absolutely.
but it's not mortal.
Yeah.
It's not
Fatal.
Fatal. Yeah.
Fatal. Yeah. So I think that would be a very good avenue for it to take. So my other thing with virtual reality was, do you think it will be so advanced to the point where people will just shut off the actual world and turn to virtual reality and call that their own reality?
I think that's
The
already
Matrix.
yeah, I was gonna say I think that's already happening. I believe that there's some people who, because the Oculus Rift, for life I can never remember the Google's one, but Oculus Rift, the Sony PlayStation VR headset, the Xbox One that they're working on, there's already people who, like, as soon as they get home from work or whatever, they on, and then they're on that all day, and then that's just like their reality, and that's what they have. I know there's I forget what the game is called, but it's like a chat room where you can actually create your own skin and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And you could be any character you want. You could literally go to this little like bar area, or you could go and just like play games that people made, and then they literally will hang out and do that all day, and they refer to themselves as like that's who they are.
So I don't know if this is the game that you're talking about, but it might be. You guys ever heard of Second Life?
Mm-mm.
It sounds familiar.
Really? All right. So Second Life is an interesting thing. It's a computer-based game. Think The Sims kind of, but more involved. Second Life is basically you go on the computer, you create your avatar, and you create a life for them.
Yeah, I'm thinking that. Yeah, I think we're talking about the same game.
You can spend money, like real world money, on the game. I found out after I had heard of what the game is, there's ways that people make money on this game by different services or selling stuff their character made or this or that. That translates into real money. So it's an interesting and that's why I thought it was interesting when you brought up that point, because I used to have a girlfriend who played Second Life. And I was like, okay, but why? You have a life.
Yeah.
It's right here. So I get, but then again, you know, how different is that from someone playing The Sims or,
True.
you know, other video game that's maybe not so outlandish or so far out there. Obviously, you can't compare it to GTA because you can't exactly run around ripping people out of their cars and stealing helicopters and stuff like that. But you know, when it comes to something like Second Life, I would consider that virtual reality because it's a reality that this person creates that it's not real, but they live through it as though it was. There is no goal to the game.
It's just existing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I do think people can or will be in that kind of mindset where there's almost like blurred lines between reality and their virtual reality world, where it's like split personalities basically.
Yeah, which I understand. I mean,
like maybe their life sucks here.
Exactly, and I was just about to say that.
So they go to their virtual reality world and where they're like the most popular person, or they're the strongest, or they have the most money, and they're like, oh well.
Yeah, why do I want to
fuck that life?
Yeah, why would I want to be here?
Right, and it's like that detachment gets dangerous.
Oh, absolutely.
Because at that point, these people are literally living in a fantasy world. This is not your life. It's not. It's a fun escape, but the smarter thing to do is to look at your actual life, see what things you can affect change in that to kind of make it more towards your liking and make the effort rather than just trying to find an escape in virtual reality or in drugs or in alcohol or it's no different. It's people trying to get away from these things that for some reason they feel that they can't affect change in or just don't have the willpower to do so.
So a coping mechanism without a doubt.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes perfect sense because like you were saying, you know, like you go in there and you're anything, literally.
Yeah.
You know, it's
anything you want to be.
So it's almost like that movie Player One. I don't know if you guys seen that movie, but that movie was that was the general premise was that you go into that world and you could be anything and everybody and anything, and it's just like this whole extravagant world that's just. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Go watch that movie. Help Steven Spielberg out.
What is it? Ready Player One?
Ready Player One. He's Steven Spielberg needs more money, so just help him out.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
All right. So I will not be using my 5 minutes.
All right.
Which means that is the end of this episode.
Mr. Mannche, hold my 5 minutes out.
Yes, sir. So that's episode 8 in the books right there.
Yeah, sit, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
we made it. Episode 8. Yeah.
So let's go over our social medias real quick. You know, get our shameless self-promotion here.
Hey.
So I am Jared, Jared Mannche, Mannche on Twitter, and then also Mannche, Mannche on PlayStation. So if you want to play some games, hit me up. We'll move over to Busta. You got any social medias or anything?
Alex Bustamante on Facebook. Hit me up. I look here like I do on there.
Okay, cool. And then GaVinci Raw.
You can find me on Instagram, GaVinci Raw, RAW, and that's on Instagram, and that's like the most obvious place you can find me. That's the one I'm always on, so if you want to contact me, feel free to hit me up on there. And then YouTube, same thing, GaVinci Raw, GaVinci Raw, RAW, and that's just the regular YouTube channel. I'm the only one, so without a doubt, you guys, let's conversate, let's do the thing, and let's grow together. And most importantly, grow together means like, comment, subscribe, and of course turn on that notification bell. That helps us out tremendously.
Give us your opinions. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know what you think of our opinions. Argue with us, please.
Yeah. Let's make some combo.
We'll be reading the comments every day. You know, if anybody has anything that they want to talk about, or if they disagree on something that we said, then let us know, and we'd be happy to prove you wrong.
I would like nothing more than to have a very respectful argument with somebody who wants to share their position.
Absolutely.
That's what this is
Absolutely.
all about. That's why we get here every week and we do this.
Absolutely.
For sure. All right, guys. So thank you for tuning in. If you made it this far, we really appreciate you. I know it's kind of long episodes, but you know,
we
worth
got
it.
a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
Thanks for
it's worth
sticking
it.
with us.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys next week. We'll
All
be
right.
See you on
releasing this video on. We'll be releasing next video on Thursday.
Yeah.
We release every Thursday around 12 to 1 to 2 around that time period.
Yeah, sometimes it's regulated to time zones, so sometimes they'll release at like 6 p.m. for you. Some people, it just depends.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it, guys.
Thanks
That's
for
it.
See you
tuning
guys
in
next
and
week.
joining
Yeah.
us on Two Couch
Yeah,
Talk.
we'll see you guys next
Absolutely.
time on episode 9.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace, guys.